The first reason that women think you're creepy is that you don't put safety first. You gotta wear a mask even when you're completely alone. That shows that you're a good Samaritan and makes women comfortable with your presence. Now, seriously though, I have actually seen people wear masks when they're by themselves, not near anyone. I saw one guy in a car, alone, wearing a mask. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so the topic of this video is 3 reasons that women think you're creepy. And look, maybe none of these describe you, but there's a good chance that some of them do, because these are very common behaviors that we don't know turn women off, that we don't know they make women uncomfortable. And by being aware of what they are, you can avoid making these mistakes in the future, and you can avoid getting girls to see you only as a friend or to just flat out reject you because you're putting on the wrong, you're giving them the wrong impression by doing these 3 things. And if you're wondering, well, how do I know that you, AG, how do I know you don't make women feel uncomfortable and that you're not creepy? To be fair, everyone makes some people uncomfortable. That's just being a human being in general, right? But if you want to see hidden camera infield proof that I do well with women, that I'm able to attract women, bring them home, and do things like that, you can click the link below to get a free hidden camera infield, a full breakdown of me approaching a really hot girl and bringing her home. And if that's not enough to convince you that I'm not creepy, then there's not much I can do. So with that said, what are the 3 things? Number 1 is that you hide your intentions. This is one that society teaches us to do, even in a lot of pop culture. How do people meet? By being friends first. The guy acts like a friend with no sexual interest whatsoever, and then months or years down the line, he's like, by the way, I like you. Look at The Office, Pam and Jim. They were friends first, then they fall in love later. Look at Friends, the show Friends. The main character, Ross, or whatever his name is, I don't really remember. But Ross and, the hot blonde chick, I can't think of her name. But how do they get together? Through being friends first. That is how pop culture portrays romance. You have to be friends first, then show your intentions. And what this does is makes women feel very uncomfortable, because if you're acting like a friend, but you really have some different intention, she senses these subtle incongruencies, these subtle weird behavior patterns that just make her feel off. She doesn't know why for certain. She may or may not be aware of what's going on, but she feels off. So on the one hand, you desire her. You think she's sexy. You want to date her. But you're acting like a friend. You're shopping with her. You're talking about her problems. You're talking about her dating problems as if you're not, one of the guys who should be dating her. And by doing that, you give her this false impression that you're one thing when you're really another. You're actually being duplicitous. You're actually being kind of two-faced when you do this, rather than just letting her know right up front that you are attracted to her. And she may not like you, she may turn you down, but then there is no doubt. There's not this weird feeling of, does he like me? Does he not? There isn't that incongruence, and that makes her actually more comfortable with you than if you act like a friend when you really want something sexual. That is very common. I've done it. Probably you've done it. We've all done it. It never works. It makes the girl feel like she's being used, like she's being objectified, because you really want something that you're not letting her know you want. It is dishonest, and she feels the difference. She feels the incongruence between your thoughts, words, and actions. You're thinking, damn, I want her. I want to date her. You're feeling this same, emotion, but you're not acting on those emotions. You're acting like something else, basically kind of like being a wolf in sheep's clothing. She can sense that. Women have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to be able to be very good at sensing intentions, whether you have good intentions or something else, and whether you're being honest or dishonest. They've actually done a lot of studies showing this. And so it's important to be aware that this will creep women out anytime you do it. So look, If you like a girl, but you don't want to ask her out because you know there's a risk of doing so, well, then just in your mind, tell yourself she's only a friend. You're not going to make a move and you're just going to be friends. Be honest with yourself about that. You can make that decision. But otherwise, if you are considering pursuing her, just put yourself out there right away, get it done, and then if you do have a friendship afterwards, at least that friendship will be honest and she knows what's up and she won't be creeped out by the duplicitousness of what most guys tend to do. Number 2 is that you're unexpressive. I do live boot camps with guys where I bring them out to approach women. And the number one thing I see that makes girls uncomfortable when guys approach women, unexpressiveness. Just flat. They don't speak with different emotions, with different tonalities, different frequencies. They don't smile much. They don't enjoy themselves. They don't put out different emotional wavelengths, basically. They're just unexpressive. Like the opposite of a good actor, right? Like just flat, boring, unengaging. That makes women feel like you might be a serial killer. That's basically what it comes across as if you're really totally flat. Like it just makes it feel like I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what he wants. I don't know what's going on, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. So one of the simplest things you can do to make a better impression on women is to just be more expressive, to smile, to use your face to make different, to make different expressions and to be more vibrant in the way you speak. Speak with more emotion, more passion, implement pauses, do things of that nature. Speak with different tonalities. The more you vary it, the more expressiveness, the more that you come across as someone who's a real human being rather than a robot. And this is something, by the way, if you're someone who follows the Red Pill or similar communities or the manosphere in general, it is very common for those guys to be very unexpressive. That is the biggest problem I have with clients that come from there. And be aware that being unexpressive is not the only way to be masculine. It can actually be very beta because it shows that you're withdrawing into yourself. You're not putting yourself out there. Leaders, alphas, they put themselves out there. They are not repressed. And look at someone like, who's a stereotypical alpha male. Who's that very famous actor that used to be a wrestler? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Look at him. He's very alpha, but he's also extremely expressive. When he talks, he uses his body, he uses his voice. He's very, very engaging. Whereas someone who's less alpha is actually going to be less engaging. So the idea that you should be like very serious, and that's what makes you alpha or high status is very inaccurate. It's very misleading, and that will hold you back and make women uncomfortable in your presence. Now, number 3 is that you don't take no for an answer. It has to be said. A lot of guys, I've seen guys at bars, they're approaching a girl. She's like, no, not interested. And he's like, but you said you were single. If you're single, why wouldn't you date me? Right? Derpity derp to derp derp. And they keep going. And she's like trying to get away. You can tell she's tense. She's looking around. She's giving one-word responses. She doesn't want to be there, but he doesn't take no for an answer. Now, this could, in one case, like being like that is the best way to get into a fight. So that's one problem, although that doesn't happen often when you're being blithely aggressive without paying attention to the situation and not noticing when a girl is turning you down. That is how you get into a fight or get 86'd from a venue. I actually had a friend who got permanently kicked out from a venue for being that way. So that can happen for one. But for two, you're wasting your time and you're making the girl uncomfortable. So I'm not saying to be a passive pushover that as soon as an interaction feels like a little bit awkward, you give up right away. But when a girl is giving you clear signs that she's not interested, she's looking around like she wants to be saved, that's a very big sign. She's giving you one-word responses. She's saying that she's unavailable, that she has a boyfriend or whatever. Don't waste your time. It's not good for her, and it's not good for you. It's not good for anyone. Everyone loses in that situation, and that is a very common way that men creep women out. It is extremely common. Actually, in the free infield that you can get by clicking the link below, you get to see an example of a creepy guy coming up to the girl and doing exactly what I'm talking about, and it making everyone uncomfortable. In this case, it actually helps me because it makes it easier for us to move somewhere else to pull because she wants to get away from that guy. But you don't want to be that guy. You definitely don't want to be that guy. So just paying attention to when a girl's not interested and being willing to respect that. There's a such thing as healthy entitlement, which means, look, you do assume women find you attractive. Women will like you. You assume the positive, but as soon as you get any evidence that you shouldn't assume the positive, that a particular girl doesn't like you, you respect that as well. And that will save you a lot of wasted time on pursuing girls that are uncomfortable, and it'll save you from awkward social situations where you might get kicked out of a bar and stuff like that. So those are the 3 reasons that women think you're creepy. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button. If you want to see that hidden camera infield video that I mentioned, make sure to click the link below to get access to that instantly. But with that said, I'll see you tomorrow.